Now that the threat of Zur-En-Arrh has ended, the Dark Knight desperately tries to pick up the shattered pieces of his life, but will it be enough? Well, let's hop into the pages of Batman issue number 149 and find out together, shall we? Alrighty then, so as we join the book, we pick up on the loose plot thread from the end of the previous issue. I'm of course talking about the Robin of Zur-En-Arrh. You'll remember that after Damian turned against him, Zur-En-Arrh went out of his way to clone a brand new replacement, who, as it turned out, was actually not a clone of any of the Robins, but actually a clone of Bruce himself. Now he's running around scared, directionless, and all messed up following the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh's defeat. And where exactly did Bruce find his young clone? Well, in probably the first place we all guessed, Crime Alley, doling out justice to one of the Penguin's leg breakers. At first, the kid is stubborn and resistant to Batman's help. Again, hey, it's like everything Bruce is actively being turned against him right now, but once he comes around to the idea that Bruce didn't kill Zur-En-Arrh, Zur killed himself, he does allow himself to be taken back to the Brownstone for more testing, and sadly the prognosis is not good at all. First off, Zur controlled the little clone kid by partitioning his memories, having the painful stuff, the stuff related to training up front, with all the actual good stuff about Batman, you know, the stuff that makes his life worth living, pushed all the way to the back. Now these memories are coming full circle and the kid doesn't know what to make of any of it. But somehow none of that is actually the worst part. The worst part is that this clone is slowly dying. Well, actually, he's slowly aging to the point of death. Again, Zur grew this one in a tank, and always planned for him to be completely expendable, replaced with a new clone once he aged out. Bruce vows to do everything in his power to save the kid because, hey, he still feels very guilty for everything Zur did after escaping his own mind. And because, you know, the allegory here couldn't be more obvious if we tried. Can Batman actively save his own inner child? Surprisingly, it's actually Damian of all people who isn't helpful at all in this situation, saying that they need to put this clone stuff on the back burner while they go and try and rescue what's left of the failsafe robot, as it was carted off by the military at the end of the previous issue. Oh, don't worry, Damian, I'm sure that won't come back and bite everyone in the ass during a big event coming soon. It's just kind of weird for me to see Damian have absolutely zero sympathy for a clone, considering that he was grown in a test tube and he has two clones, Respawn and the Heretic. Who knows, maybe he's having youngest child syndrome and he fears that if this Bruce clone sticks around for long, it's only a matter of time before he becomes the new Robin. Bruce figures the best way he can help his clone is if he retraces Zur-En-Arrh's steps. He takes Tim with him to investigate Zur-En-Arrh's secret off-site Batcave hidden somewhere in the woods. Tim is happy to tag along, because it means Bruce might actually be good to his word this time when he says he's not afraid for asking for help. In fact, Batman even goes as far as to say that he's still in the back of his mind has his doubts about just how defeated Zur-En-Arrh is. After all throughout this adventure, he learned he can't trust his own mind as much as he thought he could, and people kept implanting psychic kill switches in his brain. Tim says that it's normal to doubt yourself. It's human, even. And surely if Batman keeps working at it, he'll get the hang of it eventually. You know, what's not healthy is treating your doubts by building killer robots and backup personalities. By the time Bruce gets home, his clone has already advanced to the point of being middle-aged, and he's starting to really get nostalgic for a life he never lived, adventures he never went on, as well as fears of all the things he'll never actually get a chance to do. It's all pretty heavy stuff, with Bruce having to admit he has thought about his own mortality and all the different ways to cheat it over the years, but ultimately there's no better way to overcome his fear of death than knowing full well that he's left behind a great legacy for his children and sidekicks to follow in long after he's gone. Too bad he can't exactly leave them anything more material, though. Heck, this last battle with Zur-En-Arrh has basically depleted what little fortune Bruce had left. Which is a shame, because a fresh infusion of cash would be really helpful in trying to save this clone's life. It's at that very moment a massive light bulb goes off in Bruce's head, and that is, hey, if Zur-En-Arrh had his own Batcave and was working on his own experiments with the fail-safe robot and Bruce never noticed, that must be because Zur had his own money. And indeed, it seems over the years the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh actively hijacked Bruce's body so that he could make his own financial decisions that, you guessed it, ended up making him a billionaire. And because Zur was just a creation of Bruce's own mind, you guessed it, all that money is now his. Only, you know, here's hoping Bruce actually remembers to pay taxes this time around. Because seriously, that's how he got in this situation he got into in the first place. It wasn't just because the Joker stole it, it's because he literally couldn't tell anyone about it. Now that he's a fresh freshly minted billionaire once again, Bruce is able to enlist the help of Michael Holt, Mr. Terrific, to try and figure out what they can do for the clone, and sadly, very little. Terrific says that he could probably transfer his consciousness into some sort of robotic form, but you guessed it, after dealing with Zurna and Failsafe, no Bruce wants to be stuck in a robotic shell ever again. Oh, and also because the Bruce clone was seemingly so hungry for actual real-life experiences, or because he's desperately trying to match the person he's cloned from, he also cut off his own hand at one point. Now that Batman is truly through the looking glass right now, and he knows he won't be able to save the clone's life, at the very least he can try and make his last minutes on Earth as comfortable as possible. And what does the clone want? Well, he wants to go home to die. And Batman cares so much he's actively willing to risk a fight with Vandal Savage so his clone can actually go out on his own terms in the family graveyard right next to Thomas, Martha, and Alfred. It's here that Bruce and his clone talk about the house, all the amazing memories they have here, all the good times, but also all the sadness and all the hard memories that this place represents. Bruce, in an admittedly pretty mature bit of insight there, tells his clone that while he certainly loves Wayne Manor, at the same time a house is nothing without the people in it that made it a home. And that these days Wayne Manor feels a lot more like a museum than it does a home. It's at that moment right there his clone ends up passing on. Now it's right around here I thought I knew where the story was going, but to Chip Zdarsky's credit, he actually does a pretty good job swerving me. Vandal Savage, the new commissioner of police, yes, that's still a thing, lights up the bat signal in an attempt to try and big dick Bruce, saying that if him and his family ever want their house back, he's going to have to learn to play ball with the new commissioner. And you think for a second, oh no, is Bruce actually gonna crumble here in this very important moment? Only no, he doesn't. He cold cocks Vandal in the face, breaking the bat signal, and tells him to keep the house, you stupid caveman. The next day, the entirety of the extended Bat family get a message from Bruce saying that they're to have an important family meeting, which is weird for him because this is in broad daylight and in an address they're not used to. It seems that Batman has indeed procured himself a mansion, it's just not the mansion you thought. Welcome to the brand new Pennyworth Manor. Though, in fact, we've actually seen this place once before. It was the creepy dollhouse that Joker had taken over a couple arcs ago. It seems that after that, the old money family that owned the house were quick to try and get rid of it. In fact, it seems Bruce was not only able to buy this pleasant fixer-upper, but also just about every building in the surrounding area. He wants to try and revitalize the area, build affordable housing, open charities, and really try and give back to the community. Hell, he's gonna actually be living in the center of Gotham now. Pennyworth Manor is admittedly not as big as stately Wayne Manor, but it's just big enough so everyone in the family can have their own rooms. Even Barbara and Nightwing, who Bruce admits is spending a lot of time in Bloodhaven these days. Honestly, I'm surprised Dick doesn't say, hey, urban renewal, that's what I've been doing in my series. Yep, Pennyworth Manor sure has everything. In fact, the only thing it's missing is its own Batcave, which Bruce vows to dig himself by hand late into the night when he's met by Selina Kyle. It's here the two lovers end up reconnecting like they always do. Man, we sure have amazing lives, right? Crazy stuff always happening to us. I was in space just recently. Sorry about Gotham, or yeah, we really weren't ourselves on that one, were we? Want to see the new house? Hey, maybe like 80th time's a charm, right? And this time we can finally make our crazy relationship work. And so that was Batman issue number 149, everybody, and ultimately I felt this one was a lot more of a substantial finale than the issue that preceded it. Mainly because it actually took time to slow down and focus on actual characterization. If I was to give Chip Zdarsky credit, I would say this is probably the most warm, human, and relatable Bruce has been in a long time. It's a story that didn't need a lot of big, over-the-top, bombastic action or a lot of set pieces, because it was interesting enough just seeing the series do all the heavy lifting it needed to put some stuff right that once went wrong. Bruce is rich again, how about that? He has a mansion again. It's not the mansion you might have thought, but he has one. Well, obviously I'm a stickler for tradition and would have loved to see the return of old stately Wayne Manor. I don't hate the idea of the new Pennyworth Manor either. I like this concept that Batman wants to leave the past in the past and start fresh, making brand new memories with his family once again, you know, until he inevitably alienates them in the next 5 to 8 years, because that's usually the cycle for DC Comics. More than anything, this kind of feels like Chip Zdarsky's final word on Batman. I know it's not, he's not leaving the book, but this really does feel like the end of his era. After this, we're heading right into Absolute Power, and and then I really do wonder what this series is going to look like and what it's going to become, considering that Zur and Aw and Failsafe were such a huge part of this book. Overall, though, I think I feel comfortable giving this one a 7.5 out of 10. Not perfect, definitely better than the issue that preceded it. I think a lot of people are going to be happy with this one. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest, that's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow and, help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye-bye.